In the dark underbelly of Marvel's supernatural universe, where demons, dhampirs, and monsters roam the night, few characters walk a line as thin and as tragic as Hannibal King. A private investigator cursed with vampirism, King has carved out a niche as one of the most compelling and morally complex antiheroes in Marvel Comics. Introduced in Tomb of Dracula, number 25, in 1974 by writer Marv Wolfman and artist Gene Colan, Hannibal King emerged as a noir-style character wrapped in Gothic horror, embodying the rare vampire who refused to become a monster. Hannibal King was once an ordinary man, a skilled private eye operating out of New York City. During one of his investigations, he was attacked and bitten by Deacon Frost, a sadistic and powerful vampire who would go on to become a recurring villain in the Marvel Universe. The encounter changed Hannibal forever. He died, and awoke undead. But unlike most victims of vampirism, King retained his moral compass. He rejected the idea of feeding on human blood and instead turned his curse into a crusade. Haunted by what he had become, King committed himself to resisting the monstrous urges that now boiled within him. He fed only on blood obtained from blood banks or animal sources, and used his heightened senses, strength, and healing abilities to solve cases and hunt supernatural threats. His private detective work became darker and more dangerous, often pulling him into the path of other Night Stalkers and vampire hunters, including one of his most important allies, Blade. Hannibal and Blade's partnership would go on to define much of King's Marvel legacy. Initially skeptical of one another, they would eventually become trusted comrades, teaming up alongside Frank Drake in the group known as the Night Stalkers. Formed in the early 1990s during Marvel's surge of supernatural horror stories, the Night Stalkers specialized in battling demonic forces, cults, and vampire legions threatening the human world. While Blade provided the fury and Frank the technology, Hannibal brought detective instincts and a calm rationality shaped by years of struggling against his darker impulses. Unlike traditional vampires in Marvel Comics, who are often grotesque, feral, or aristocratic monsters, Hannibal King presented a rare portrait of restraint and sorrow. His existence was one of penance, and his refusal to drink human blood made him a tragic, almost monastic figure. He was the vampire who chose to live with suffering rather than inflict it on others. King's popularity surged again with the release of Blade Trinity in 2004, where he was portrayed by Ryan Reynolds in a much more comedic and action-heavy interpretation. While this version leaned into quips and swagger, the comic book Hannibal King remained more brooding and noir-driven. Still, the film helped introduce a wider audience to the character and solidified his association with Blade in pop culture. In more recent years, Hannibal has made scattered appearances across Marvel's supernatural titles, often appearing in Doctor Strange, Blade, and Legion of Monsters storylines. He remains a valuable asset in the fight against mystical threats, trusted not because of his power, but because of his integrity. His continued refusal to give in to bloodlust stands as a quiet rebellion against the curse that defines him. In a universe filled with gods, monsters, and morally gray heroes, Hannibal King remains a unique symbol. A man who died, came back as a predator, and made a choice every day not to become one. He is the monster who chose not to feed, the detective who hunts the very darkness that claimed him, and a reminder that true heroism often comes not from power, but from restraint.